So we wanted to get this vehicle inspected and registered in our name mid this month. That did not happen. We told you last video that we had a couple issues, one of which is the tire. Not necessarily the tire, but the wheel itself, we found out. Now, like I said before, this vehicle was damaged in the front passenger corner. Took out the tire, the grill, everything on the front passenger side. Now, during that time frame, whatever they hit got up inside the tire or the wheel itself and actually gouged out a nice groove in there. We thought it was the tires because they were extremely bald. When I mean extremely bald, there's wire showing all the way through on the inner portions of the tire. It's probably why it got into an accident, slippery road, no tread, slid right into something, and then they don't know why it happened. So
yeah. I've seen it a number of times. Anyway.
Now, we have 3 options to fix that. One is replace all the wheels with the offset that we want. That would be the most expensive part, which also entails getting the fender flares we want and the suspension we want to be able to get it to pass inspection. Now, I don't want to do that. I want to make sure it passes inspection before I do all that. So that's not going to happen. I looked online to see exactly what rim this takes and how much it costs. The lowest rim I could find, and it already had damage on it, was $150-ish, like $156. Plus shipping.
That would be around 200, a little over 200.
Yeah, it would be pretty expensive. Yeah. And that was a already damaged rim. Now, to get a remanufactured rim or a new rim or whatever, it was going to cost us over $200 anyways. That's a lot of money for one rim. If we're going to change them out anyway. So I didn't see the point of doing that. So that was a complete waste of money in my book, because as soon as I get this to pass inspection, we're going to start this second stage of this thing, is actually lift it up, put the fender flares on, and put the wheels and tires set up that we want, which meant we would just throw the $200 right out the window and go from there. Now, what we chose to do is the absolute cheapest option. It was about $10. Hang on.
And before we really get into that, I'm going to tell you right now, disclaimer, do not, I'm going to emphasize again, do not do what we're about to do. This is only to get this thing onto a trailer to pass inspection. We're not driving on the interstate, so I'm not recommending this. You've been warned.
Yeah. JB Weld. So we are going to JB Weld the damage that we found inside our wheel, which also consists of a crack or a small leak. It's enough to go flat in about 3 days. Now, like I said, or like she said, we don't plan on driving this on a regular basis with those wheels on it. As soon as we get it to pass inspection and this thing titled in our name and registered, we want to be able to remove the suspension, get all the stuff done that we want to do before we actually drive it for real. We don't want to drive it around at high speeds. I think the fastest we'll do is around the neighborhood, probably 25 miles an hour, going around just to test it and see what changes we have as we do it. Now, we'll go ahead and go through the process of what we want to do. Clean, grind, clean again, and then
applying to JB Weld.
And then test and wait to see. So, okay. Okay, so as you can tell, right here is where something got in there and scratched all the way up there. Now, I think there's some on the very top too, but this right here, this spot right here is where it's leaking from. And we'll do it one more time. We'll make sure that that is exactly the spot it's leaking from. She'll clean this really well. That way it gives something to adhere to. It doesn't have dirt right there. And then what I'll do is right where this is, I'll grind it down a little bit and I'll JB Weld right over it. I'll make it as smooth as possible, or she'll make it as smooth as possible. And then we'll give it a test of PSI and see exactly how well it handles. Okay, let me set you up for her to clean it.
I got a green scratcher, a wire brush, a scrub daddy to sing better days, a pail of hot water, and a rag. And one of my favorite cleaners ever is Barkeeper's Friend. So we'll see how this goes.
He's gonna supervise you.
Yeah. So first I'm just gonna go ahead and take a rag, we'll wipe it down, get all the loose crap off, and that way I can see what I need to hit first.
So right there.
All right, guys, so it's clean all the way around. I didn't do the inside of the spokes because I don't see a reason to. But as you can see, there's the damage all the way along here, and there's some damage all the way up in here, as well as up here.
Yeah, so whatever they hit in here and went all the way in, and then right here is where that hole was. So we'll do one more fill up on this. I'll put some air in here and I'll show you exactly where it's leaking from. Then we'll have to let the air out. I'll grind that out a little bit wherever the damage is, where we mark it, and then we'll patch it up. It takes 6 hours, and then obviously tomorrow when I get home, we will see if it still holds there, see if I find any leaks or anything like that. So let me fill this up real quick with air, and I'll show you exactly where the leaks are. So right there is where we have the leak. I thought it was in the center, but it is on that end. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and clean this up real quick, wipe it down, get it cleaned up. I will grind that little area down so we can get a better adhesion for the JB Weld, and probably do like a patch right here, maybe even some of it up here just for cosmetics, and then we'll sand it all down, we'll primer it, and see how well it looks. Okay, so we did grind out pretty much all the damaged area, as well as in here and on this lip right here. There was a lot of raised material that was right here. We just ground it out. We're not going to drive this more than 25 miles an hour when we drive around the neighborhood. We're not going to drive it on the interstate or anything like that. So this is not a permanent fix. This is just temporary to pass inspection and to keep it from going flat out there and having code get all pissed off at us because we have a flat tire. So after we did that, we went ahead and filled it up with air one last time to make sure that there is no leaks elsewhere. That is the only leak we find.
Yeah, all right here.
Yeah, so just right here is where it's leaking at. Just this spot. You can see.
Yeah, every time the bubble comes, that's a leak.
So what we'll do is we'll pull out this valve, deflate the tire completely. That way, when we do put in a JB Weld, it doesn't try to bubble that up. We're going to remove the valve out of it, and then we'll be right back.
All right, so if we got the wheel ground down and it's all been cleaned out with alcohol, just to make sure there's not going to be any kind of residue from anything that we've done, to make sure that the JB Weld is going to adhere to it. What we are using is JB Weld Quick Weld, and it is a quick setting steel reinforced epoxy. So just a reminder, we said it earlier, this is not going to be driven on the interstate. This is just to hold air on the wheel to get it to pass inspection. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and mix this up and apply it to the wheel.
Okay, so this was 24 hours later, and we actually filled it up with air, and we're checking for leaks. Now, where the leak was before was right here. I don't see any active leaking, nor anywhere else. So no active leaking where it was. I say that was success. Other than the fact that it's real bumpy and stuff like that, what we'll do is we'll take a sander and sand it smooth-ish. Doesn't need to be perfect because remember, this isn't going to be a wheel that I'm going to use for a permanent basis. It will be just basically pass inspection. We are going to primer the entire inside of it. We'll tape it off on the inside, tape it off on the outside, and then we'll primer it all. But first, let me sand it and check it one last time for any kind of leaks. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and sanded this down as smooth as I feel safe that it's not going to leak anymore. Now our leak was up here. This is just all sanded smooth just for cosmetics. It is not perfect, but as you can tell, still no active leaks. What we'll do is we'll prep this for paint. We'll try a trick where we use a trash bag and kind of wrap it around here. Hi, you're not going to help me, nose?
No, but I am.
She's going to do it all. And she needs to tape everything on this line right here in. That way none of the overspray gets over there. So basically everything from here all the way out to here will be painted gray as it is right now, minus the sanding. But we'll get that done and she'll do it. And I'll actually make her paint it too. So hey, this is her car. This is her demon. She will deal with it. Okay, so we went ahead and wrapped it. We taped up everything from basically this line down, made sure everything was nice and clean before we did that. We covered up this area right here because we didn't want to get the overspray on the inside. It is a darker gray on the actual spokes. And then we went ahead and taped up here. I tried to do the method where you actually stretch the plastic around this and tuck it in. Those trash bags aren't going to work. It has to be like a regular plastic or a thicker bag, not one of these stretchy bags that they have. So we're going to go out, we're going to paint this real quick, bring it in, let it dry, and we will be back when it's dried. So we got this painted. We went ahead and brought it back inside, and I'll let Jill unwrap it. It's not perfect. As long as it passes, it's good. So
yeah, we'll gladly take a C- or a D+.
Yeah. Okay.
There we are.
It's a little bit darker of a gray than I thought, but that's fine. So
Looks good.
as you can tell right here, there's a little bit of marks. Let me go ahead and pull you guys off real quick. Okay, so right here there's a lot of marks from, that's where the damage was, as well as right here. These are pretty smooth, but this right here is where the leak was. I wanted to make sure it stayed fairly thick, that way it won't leak or anything like that. So we'll give it a day or two and see how well it holds air. There's no other leaks that I found anywhere else on here, so let's flip this up real quick. So from the inside, watch out, I want to see the light. From the inside, you're really not going to see anything, and that's a good thing. So, okay, so we'll be back in just a second.
So anyway, we got the wheel done. It is painted. It's not pretty, but it's going to pass, hopefully.
Yeah, it's definitely a C-, D+ type thing. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to hold air. so we can get through inspection. After that, we plan on getting rid of it, getting new offsets for it. We are putting
Bigger
3-inch
tires.
wider fenders on it, fender flares on it, as well as a lift kit and possibly 32s. We are going to lift this up 3 inches with the lift kit. We are going to try to put 32s on it, which is actually the tires that came off our Broncos, my Bronco. So we'll just put the tires from that on to this, and we'll go from there. This is going to be her rally car. We're setting it up for this. As soon as we get it to pass inspection, there's major changes going on with this, including a roll cage, the suspension like we said. We are going to do a lot of lighting. We are going to get some more interior stuff done to it, and a number of other stuff. So please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us for her journey into rally
racing.
championships.
I don't know about the championship part.
Championships.
Let's just get my feet wet first.
Wet? It's rally, dirt. Get her feet dirty first. That's better, okay? Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Bye.
Bye.